Welcome to another episode of Let's Talk About Clutter. I'm your host, Margo, a professional organizer specializing in chronic clutter. And today we're tackling a clutter culprit that often gets overlooked: our dear shopping habits. Have you ever decluttered a space only to find it cluttered again in a few months? That's because decluttering alone isn't enough. We also have to change the way we bring things into our homes. So today I'm sharing simple but powerful strategies to help you shop more mindfully so you can stop clutter before it even starts. Let's jump right in. Here's the truth bomb. Most clutter doesn't come from anywhere. It starts at the store. Or let's be honest, for some of us, the Amazon cart. The clutter currently occupying space in your home is the result of many purchases over the years. There are a lot of reasons we often shop. The most common one is emotional. We buy things because we're stressed, because we're bored, because it's that time of the month, or because the sale feels too good to pass up. But all those impulse purchases add up. Then, what feels like suddenly, our closets, cabinets, and drawers are overflowing with things we barely use. And of course, at some point, guilt sets in. Ever find yourself saying, "What was I thinking when I bought this?" Oh yeah, I have been there myself. I was the stress shopper. Now, with that said, I just want to offer up a caveat. So most often, clutter is as a result of shopping, but of course, there are extraneous circumstances such as the onset of a chronic illness, the loss of a loved one, and a few other unique circumstances. I'm speaking to the general consensus of how clutter makes its way into our space. I was recently working with a client on the Upper East Side in New York. She hired me to help her declutter and organize her closet. The closet was enormous, filled with piles and piles of clothing. She confided in me that she hadn't let go of a single item in 15 years. There were tons of items that still had tags on them, and I can't tell you how many times I heard her say, "Ooh, Margo, I didn't even know I had this." She was a very impulsive shopper, attracted to sales, and used shopping as a coping mechanism for the many stressors in her life. This is incredibly common. The first step to mindful shopping is awareness. Pay attention to why and when you're shopping. Are you buying because you truly need something, or is it because you couldn't pass up that sale at Target? Are you shopping during that time of the month? Is it a coping mechanism, a trauma response? Understanding what is going on is the best way to reel it in. It's also possible that you have a shopping addiction, and I mean this in a clinical sense. Addiction is not just limited to alcohol or drugs. Addiction is an umbrella term for a compulsive dependence on a substance, behavior, or activity, despite negative consequences. It often involves a loss of control, cravings, and an inability to stop, even when it interferes with daily life. Compulsive shopping, also known as compulsive buying disorder, is when the act of purchasing becomes a way to cope with stress, anxiety, or emotions. Just like other addictions, it provides a temporary high, but often leads to guilt, financial strain, and, of course, clutter. Seeing a therapist can really help work through some of these and manage it better. I myself see a wonderful therapist every Friday to help me manage my anxiety, and it has been life-changing. Now that we're a little bit more aware of why we buy, let's talk about practical ways to shop more intentionally. First and foremost, never, and I do mean never, shop without a shopping list. This applies to food shopping and any other shopping, holiday shopping, gift shopping, it does not matter. If you have a list, you are more likely to practice self-discipline. I myself preach and live this. I will not, and I do mean I will not, go shopping without a shopping list. Even when I'm, let's say, buying something online through Target or Amazon or whatnot. Again, it's all intentional with a shopping list. And don't get me wrong, this takes time and practice, but I promise you, it will not only save you money, but it will keep your shopping very intentional. The next thing is the 24-hour rule. If you see something you want that wasn't on the list, wait 24 hours before buying it. Chances are you won't feel as strongly about it the next day. So if you're out and about in HomeGoods, a store I love but will not go into unless I actually need unless I actually need something. If you see, a stack of containers or a beautiful new throw blanket or throw pillow or towel, right? And it wasn't on the list and it's not a need, right? It's a want. We want to make sure we're distinguishing between needs and wants. So if it is a want, walk away, go home, wait 24 to 48 hours. If in a day or two you're like, nope, I still need this item will make me happy or it will improve the way I function in my home, then by all means go back and purchase it. But 9 out of 10 times, just by taking a pause, going back home and thinking about it, chances are you're not going to want the item and you're going to be very grateful to yourself for not giving in to an impulse buy. Next is the 1 in, 1 out rule. Again, I preach and live this. For all of you who have listened to my previous podcasts and have watched my YouTube videos, you know that I am a wardrobe minimalist. While I'm not a minimalist in my home, I have stuff, I have tchotchkes, I have trinkets, I have throw blankets, throw pillows, magnets on my fridge. I consider my home clutter-free, but I'm not a minimalist, except when it comes to my wardrobe. I literally only own a week's worth of clothing for every season. So if I don't do laundry, I run out of things to wear with the exception of underwear and socks. Those I have a little bit more of. But the way that I was able to achieve this is, of course, first I decluttered, but then I religiously follow the 1 in, 1 out rule. So for every new item you bring in, commit to removing 1 old item. This is what keeps your space balanced. Now, obviously, if it's an item you need and you did not have an existing one, then forego the 1 in, 1 out. But if, let's say, you bought that pair of jeans, get rid of an old pair of jeans. You brought in a sweater, get rid of the old sweater. You bought, a new frother because it was pretty and gold and you saw it in Home Goods. I'm speaking from experience because I saw one and I was like, oh my God, this is beautiful. I live and breathe frothers because I make lattes at home. Anyway, sorry, total detour. My point is, if I am going to purchase that gold frother, then when I come home, I shouldn't leave the old frother as a backup. Instead, I should get rid of it. That could be donating, that could be trashing, that can be giving away to family, friends, or neighbors. And lastly, create a wish list. Instead of impulse buying, add items to a list and revise it later. If you still want it in a few weeks, it's likely a good purchase. I love doing this. Let's say on Amazon, right? You do the whole save for later. So maybe you are in the mood to browse, you're in the mood to shop, and there's nothing wrong with it, right? We get a lovely high from looking at beautiful things. I actually will periodically just look at properties, houses and such. Not that I'm getting ready to buy one. I just enjoy the process, just like we often do when it comes to shopping, right? We used to call this window shopping before the era of online shopping. But with that said, browse through items, you see items, save them for later, and then you can kind of revisit them. Create a wish list of items you want. One of the reasons I also love wish list is if like your birthday's coming up or an anniversary or a holiday, you can actually pluck items from your wish list and have other folks get it for you. How amazing is that? Next, let's move on to reframing shopping from what can I get to what do I truly need? And that mindset shift takes time. Intentional shopping doesn't mean never buying anything. It means being intentional about what you own. Instead of buying things to fill a void, focus on experiences, quality over quantity, and items that truly add value to your life. By the way, if you are really committed to decluttering, you're like, this is the season that I'm going to purge my home. I have the most incredible on-demand decluttering course. It's called How to Create a Decluttering Plan. It literally organizes everything for you. I mean, there's just so much value, especially if you're somebody that's like, I don't know where to start. I don't know what my schedule should look like. I don't know what to keep, what to toss. This on-demand masterclass is about 60 minutes. I mean, it's a must. It's really going to alleviate a lot of the stress and the overwhelm that comes from like beginning your decluttering journey. And you're going to be able to declutter your entire home in at least half the time. I will leave a link to it in the show notes. So I used to be someone who found value enjoying things. Today, though, I focus on spending money on vacations, trips, and activities because I realize that those have lasting effects in the form of memories and time spent with friends and family. While a t-shirt only brings short-term joy, assuming you even wear it, things like, going on vacation or going to an amusement park or an aquarium or even taking your kids to the park, maybe having lunch outdoors, that is what you're going to remember. Not a pair of pants, not a blender, and yes, not even a frother. Decluttering isn't just about getting rid of stuff. It's about preventing unnecessary clutter from coming in. By being more mindful about shopping, you can create a home that stays organized and peaceful. I would absolutely love to hear your thoughts. What's one mindful shopping tip you will try this week? Send me a message or share it with me on social. You can reach out to me on Instagram at Be Good to Yourself by Margo. Thank you so much for listening. As always, good luck on your decluttering journey, and remember to be good to yourself.